First thing I have to say, watch Technical's video, The Tragedy of Hack's Money, How Melee Betrayed a Legend. It is incredible and exposes how much evil is in the Smash community. Large groups of people happily bullying someone into taking their own life because they disagree with them over playing video games. And then go and watch Technical's other videos, because I didn't know how crazy things were in the Smash and fighting game communities. Guilty Gear is unbelievably degenerate, and then a lot of popular people in Smash, oh yeah, they're actually just having relations with minors, or just being the craziest of gatekeeping, hypocrite, cry bullies, and tons of bans and stuff. Like, you hear a little bit about story and you're like, oh man, if that's true, that's kind of weird. But no, it's all just awful. But naturally, when exposing evil online, you're going to get a lot of hate. So Technicals has kind of become the Verlicify of the fighting game community, except he gets more support, so good on him. Also, his videos are really, really well made. So his Hack's Money video on YouTube got taken down. It's been re-uploaded. Just find it. Just look up Tragedy of Hack's Money, How Melee Betrayed a Legend. Streisand affected to millions of views. Everyone needs to know what's going on in Smash. That's like another layer to all of this craziness. And my main takeaway from Technical's video is, dang, Hacks was right about everything. Even the infamous evidence.zip 2 video that ended up getting him banned was just prophetic and correct. Oh, it turns out evil people don't like getting called on their internet totalitarianism. That's what I've been dealing with in Pokemon the entire time, so I believe it because it's real, and we can see from the results and the fallout and what happens to anyone trying to expose people being toxic and hateful and politicizing and gatekeeping over video games. We can see that it's all true, and then Technical's video exposes that because Leffen signal boosted the fake allegations against Mewtwo-King, and we've gotten to the point where, like, the Smash community has become so evil, they're bullying Mew2King, of all people, who just wants to play games. Mew2King makes a public statement after being attacked for a now-deleted viral clip of him sharing his thoughts on the Smash community banning people for political opinions. See, that's something like, we're banning people over opinions. The Smash community wants people completely removed for thought crimes. If only this was pointed out by someone else sooner. And that's the thing, it's not about any harassment, any actual threats, any action taken against individuals. It's just complete fabrications of their unwell mind to where this statement is not allowed. Since not everybody realizes my stance on this, I'll say it again. I don't approve of racism or hating groups of people in general. I think it's stupid, and I preferred it in the past when it seemed like everyone just got along to play video games together, simpler days. And everyone did get along and just played video games until certain groups of people invaded the space and demanded validation. But once again, it doesn't matter what you say. You can say racism is bad, hating groups of people is bad, all you want. If you've done one disagreeable thing and it got attention, you gotta be removed, gotta be canceled. If someone has racism and hate in their heart, they won't ever condemn it, which is why calling everyone a Nazi doesn't work, because actual supremacists are proud and they're going to say, yeah, what are you going to do about it? But then I say, no, I condemn Nazis and supremacy totally. But because I call out their totalitarian traits and evil, I must be canceled and slandered. And then Leffen also supported fake allegations against Zero. So, yeah, Leffen is evil and then used his power to then suppress and cancel Hacks and then help get him banned from all the tournaments. And then when the evil power trippers are exposed, they just keep doubling down and going crazier and crazier. But nah, man, because Hacks made a reference to totalitarianism and used a Hitler quote, which is actually just correct, he has to be canceled. He's not allowed to ever be allowed back in Melee, the thing he has dedicated his entire life to, while also presenting no threat to any person at events ever. Not even Leffen, but Leffen had the bigger audience. So yeah, he got to win out by just being like, I don't feel safe, while contributing to Zero's bullying that led to a suicide attempt. But no, nothing happened to Leffen. Everyone still kept supporting him, and Hacks gets to stay canceled. And then also Hacks kind of bringing up other thoughts like the Dark Triad and Dark Tetrad. Jordan Peterson said that, so that makes Hacks actually just alt-right, QAnon conspiracy theorist, which means he's never allowed to be in the community ever again. Hacks exposed and perfectly characterized one of the most evil and plotting people in the Smash community, which is why I have a lot of sympathy for his situation, because it's exactly what happened with me and Wolf Glick in the Pokemon community, and I feel really bad now because I heard about this story. It's like, oh, Hacks got banned, one of the legends of Melee? What happened? Well, when you're getting brigaded against and canceled, it's impossible to find the truth. You can't go on Reddit and get a neutral or fair take about the whole Hack situation, because he showed a picture of Hitler in his video, so he's automatically permanently wrong forever, even though it's being used in a completely correct way, proven by the treatment against Hacks and the tragic outcome from it. But that shows the power of cancellation, that when an entire community turns on someone, it doesn't matter if they're telling the truth, that truth will not spread through the community or be able to be talked about, because then those people are scared of getting canceled themselves, and then it doesn't break out of the community. So from the outside, it just looks like a mess that you don't want to get involved with, because you don't want to take the wrong side. And that's unfortunately how I felt about the situation. But after seeing this, I'm like, damn, I wish I got involved and defended Hacks on this one, because he was just correct. And now this is a lesson on why you never ever apologize when you believe you're doing the right thing, because the people that are politicizing what you've said to harass and bully you, they will never forgive you. There is no atonement. They are putting you through a humiliation ritual for their own sadistic kicks, which is what Hacks actually predicted. Leffen is not Dark Triad. He's Dark Tetrad for displaying sadism traits. Just like every person involved with Hacks' ban. And again, like, it doesn't matter how much he apologized, how much he tried to correct his statements, how much he went for it. I mean, like, look at this. My apology to the Melee community. He also did the retraction, like the revision of evidence.zip, the last hope, ban appeal, like so many ban appeals, multiple ban appeals, apology to Leffen, current plans, aspirations, ban, permanent ban appeal, permanent ban appeal. It's never, ever enough, because these people are evil. They want you to take your own life once you have done a single thing that they disagree with. He exposed their evil cabal. He is too much of a threat to ever let back in without extreme influence pulling for him, but they won't, because they saw what happened to Hacks for putting out the information. And also, it's one of those things like, yeah, unfortunately, you can't make the references and calls that Hacks has made in current year or even, like, for the past decade, because everything is so politicized, no matter how correct you are, which goes into these, like, other breakdowns and psychology. Gaming and online communities have let the totalitarians and thought policing win to where you can't even say something that's true. The greater the crime perpetrated by the leadership, the less likely the people will ever believe their leaders are capable of perpetuating such an event. I mean, just look at the Biden administration. And then every time I heard a story, I'm like, that can't be real. Oh wait, they did just let in millions and millions of illegals. And then they did just drop in over 10,000 ineligible migrants into a small city in Ohio, and then give them who knows how many millions in welfare benefits, and then all the stray animal population vanished. Whoa. Everything mainstream media has said about the left in the last decade, flashbang warning. Like environmentalism, I grew up in Florida. I thought we were going to be underwater. There should be no more ice caps by now, and every polar bear should be dead. But you know what? For Climate Summit, let's remove the Amazon rainforest. Let's tear it down, even though that's all I've heard is like, we need to keep the Amazon rainforest. The Sahara Desert is greening, so what is it, Democrats? Trees good? Trees bad? Do you not know that we are carbon-based life forms on a naturally regulating planet? More CO2 in the atmosphere increasing temperatures also means more greenery, because if it's warmer, there's more evaporation. And then we have this thing called the rain cycle. More rain equals more plant growth, and that's also going to fill up the water tables, which is good for human life, and also helps offset the melting of the ice caps from the increased temperatures, if that's actually happening. Antarctica gains ice for the first time in decades, reversing trend of mass loss, study finds. So yeah, it turns out there's also just an incredible amount of narcissism inside of science for us to think that in our couple of generations, our 100 years of studying climate, we've already solved billions of years of how the planet works. The hole in the ozone layer, I was told, would never, ever, ever, ever go away, immediately started healing after just a month of COVID lockdowns. So yeah, should we just pollute and destroy the planet without any care? No. Are we making as much of an impact that billionaires like Bill Gates are saying as they profit off of environmentalism? No. And no, I don't care about using my cotton bag 100 times to offset plastic bags when China's opening up a new coal plant every week and they don't care about the environment. So yeah, I'm not going to pour motor oils down a storm drain, but nothing else I do matters compared to the growth of the Chinese Communist Party. So the left has just completely left the science, which also goes into the whole COVID thing where the vaccines were not safe and effective, and it also wasn't a dangerous enough of a disease to warrant all the lockdowns, all the devastation, and just horrible things we inflicted upon people. The science got people killed by putting the sick onto ventilators, which made their body give up and artificially increase the death rate. We had Democratic leaders put the sick into nursing homes and then cause fatalities for the most vulnerable demographic. Wearing masks is completely ineffective because the particle size of the virus was smaller than just whatever cloth you're wearing, and people are always fiddling around by touching things, then touching their mask and touching their face. So that's ineffective. Also, viral load was a thing, so you actually make yourself sicker, and you compromise your immune system more by wearing a mask. And all the things that we had to do 6 feet apart, no, that was actually just a totalitarian humiliation ritual for us that was not backed by any evidence or data. But no, Fauci is God, and you're not allowed to go outside and get the fresh air, exercise, and vitamin D that actually makes you healthy enough to fight the virus. And I'm not allowed to say any of those things, even though hacks predicted the atrocities that the overlords of the Smash community would inflict upon him. So I'm all too dialed in with how these freaks behave online, that I say cheating is wrong, and most of the Pokemon community wants me dead, and they will harass me and bully me every single day to get their wish. This Mew2King thing is exactly why the Smash community needs to die. We're seeing in real time the cancellation of someone who said be apolitical and just focus on the game in a gaming community, and here's the response. Unfortunately, I can't co-sign on a community being apolitical when that means giving equal access to the people who want some members of that community dead or in camps. We should have just completely ignored this derangement a decade ago when it started popping off. The problem is the influencers just folded instead of saying, you don't like it, get out, we don't care about you. Pandering to delusional people gives you these takes. Conservatives aren't banned from Smash for their political beliefs directly, but if we're being serious, they 100% should be, even though no one is calling for any of this. Actually, no, because these people want conservatives dead, proven by Technicals, who has also, shown evidence inside of his videos of the harassment he receives, and then the unfortunate tragedy of what happened to Hacks. They wanted him dead for exposing the Smash community and bullied him until they got their wish, and they do it with everyone they don't like. That we have the false allegations against Mew2King, and now they keep trying to pile on to someone with Asperger's. And instead of kicking out the mentally ill narcissist, we let them in just to only be held hostage by them. And fortunately, there is pushback now. That's why I respect and love Technical's channel so much, that I saw his Leffen video a while ago. I was like, yeah, Leffen's a bad person. I already knew this. And then I watched it and went, oh yeah, that's a lot of bad stuff. But I didn't know about all these other things. And then after how incredibly well made the Hacks Money video was, I've gone through all this. I'm like, yeah, it's what you expect from the people that you expect. And I'm happy that it's getting the attention it deserves. The evil is being exposed. They're desperate and scared. I love to see it. And I hope this also means a good thing for the future of Pokemon, that when people realize this is happening in Smash, that also we see the escape philosophy of, oh yeah, the same thing's happening with Verlicify in the Pokemon community, that these people are just unwell. We need a purge of the Pokemon community because over 90% of the Pokemon community thinks they're righteous for cheating and then lying about it to steal prize money and opportunity over a children's game. So I'm happy to see the energy for exposing one community, but I also want to make the note that, yeah, it's happening in a lot of other places, and Pokemon is just as bad. So it would be really cool to actually see the evil of WolfClick exposed, similar to Leffen. Same thing with I'm a Blissey, Pokemon challenges, Pokeaim. Every top influencer in Pokemon is just evil and corrupt because they support the cheating, they support the brigading, they support the harassment and bullying, and they just want the opposition to be dealt with by whatever means. But I do hope this entire situation getting exposed helps that cultural reversal everyone has been wanting to see for a few years now, where we just stop conceding to these losers and their stupid narcissistic power dynamics. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.